It's no wonder why this has been one of the most consistently popular hearing aid apps over the past decade. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm walking you through a detailed tutorial of the ReSound Smart 3D app. ReSound was one of the first hearing aid manufacturers to develop a hearing aid app with the release of their Lynx line of devices back in 2014. One benefit of being the hearing aid manufacturer that's had the app around for the longest period of time is that they've had time to work through the bugs and they've had time to improve the user experience. The result is a ReSound Smart 3D app that consistently ranks among the best hearing aid apps in the industry according to Google Play and Apple App Store reviews. Initially, the app started off as being available for only iPhone users, but it eventually got to the point where they were able to make an app for Android users as well. Now the app is very similar between Apple devices and Android devices. However, there are some Android devices that get some additional features inside of the app. Now, before I get into a detailed tutorial of the ReSound Smart 3D app, do me a huge favor and click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. And let me know down in the comment section what your favorite hearing aid app features are. All right, so let's address this right now. Some of you out there are using an iPhone and some of you out there are using an Android phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover how you connect to both of these devices, but I will timestamp them in the description of this video so you can go ahead and skip to whichever part you want to see. Now I'm going to start out by connecting up with my Android phone because my Android phone is a Samsung Galaxy S23 that has some additional features that you cannot get from an iPhone. This is because my Samsung Galaxy S23 has Bluetooth LE audio that allows for a feature called Auracast, and I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a minute, but that is not a feature that's available inside of iPhones currently. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand about pairing a pair of ReSound hearing aids up to an Android device is that you're going to do all of that pairing directly through the ReSound Smart 3D app, not through the settings of the phone. Let me go ahead and walk you through that process right now. Okay, so we have the app downloaded and all we're going to do is click Yes, Connect Now. Now, I have the rechargeable versions of these hearing aids for receiver and canal, so I'm going to go ahead and click that button there, and then we're going to go ahead and put the hearing aids into the charger and hit Continue, and now it's going to have us remove the hearing aids from the charger and set them next to the phone. Once we've let them sit there for a few seconds, we're going to go ahead and click the Continue button. I can actually hear the hearing aids booting up right now, and we are eventually going to have the phone find those hearing aids because for about 2 to 3 minutes, those hearing aids are in pairing mode. And there we go. We have found Clifford's hearing aids. We're going to click on yes. It's going to be connecting to the devices. It's going to ask to pair. We're going to let it pair. And after a little bit of time here, it's going to ask us to put the hearing aids back inside the charger to reboot them one more time. And there we go. So I'm going to hit the OK button. We're going to go ahead and put the hearing aids back into the charger and hit continue, and then pull the hearing aids out of the charger, rebooting them one more time. And then once they've sat there next to the phone for a few seconds, we're going to click Continue again. And there we go. We can see that we are pulling all of the data from the hearing aids into the app, and we are completed, and we're going to hit Start. This brings us into the app itself as the hearing aids start connecting. And there we go. We are officially paired to the app with the hearing aids. Now I'm going to go ahead and screen capture this as I do it, but I'm just going to walk through this entire app with you right now. So the first thing that I want to point out is that along the bottom of the app, we have the menu. So we have the Home tab, we have the Status tab, we have the My ReSound tab, and we have the More tab. And there's a ton of stuff that you can do inside of each of these. But we're going to go ahead and start, of course, on the Home tab. Now, the first thing that you'll see at the top of the Home tab here is all of the custom programs that I programmed inside of the hearing aids with the programming software for ReSound. And so all of these are ones that were basically designed by the hearing care professional. The cool thing is, though, is that not only can you toggle between these different programs, but you could actually create your own programs, your favorites, if you want to, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. But you can either toggle through them along the top here to select whatever program that you want, or you can actually swipe the programs side to side in order to select the one that you ultimately want. Now, the other thing that you can do here from a program selection standpoint is you can actually drag this down from the top, that menu, and you can see that we have all of our programs in there. And if we would have created any custom programs yet, you would see them inside of there. So I'll bring you back into this after I've customized some of the programs. Now, you can also edit these programs. So if we hit the edit button on the bottom here, we can actually go into any of these programs and rename them if we want to. I'm not going to go ahead and do that right now, so I'm just going to hit cancel and then click done. And we could add a favorite here, but it's really kind of pointless adding a favorite in this section of the phone. It makes a lot more sense when you're going in and actually customizing a program and then save it where it shows up in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this right now. I'm gonna scroll down here a little bit further so we can see that next to the program here in the center of the screen, we have a noise filter in there, which brings down background noise, or a mutually exclusive speech clarity button, which is a filter to bring up more of the speech components of the person that you want to hear. And if you tap on it again, you can essentially eliminate that feature from being active. Now, if you go down a little bit further, you can see that you have the volume bar where you can reduce the volume, you can increase the volume, and if you are looking very closely, you might be able to see there's a little tack mark there exactly where the startup volume was, so you can return it back to your startup levels if you want to. Now, we just adjusted both ears at the same time there, which I generally recommend, but you can see we have a double line over here to the right where if you tap on that, it separates out the left and the right ears so you can adjust them independently of each other if you really, really want to. And then if you don't want to, you can always combine that back with this single line there and then restore the volume wherever you want it. Now on the far left-hand side of that bar, you have the microphone, and if you click the microphone, it mutes the hearing aids, and if you click it again, it brings it back online, and you can see the color changes that happens there when it grays out the program. Now right below that, this is where you can start customizing your program a little bit more. So you see the sound enhancer button here. We're gonna click on that, and this brings up a few different things that you can do. So number one, you can see that we're on the sound enhancer option in the top left-hand side here. This is where you can decrease or increase the bass tones, the mid tones, or the treble tones with the 3-band equalizer that they have inside of here. Now I can actually hear the hearing aids are sitting on my desk. I can hear them adjusting when I'm doing that. So I'm going to do a configuration kind of like this, and then I'm going to go down even further to customize the program more. So if I wanted a little bit less noise reduction, I could adjust that down. I could of course bring it up to have more noise reduction. I'm actually going to take this down to a moderate level of noise reduction because that's what my preference is in a particular environment. And then right below that, you can see wind noise reduction. So if you're out golfing or whatever, you can adjust the wind noise reduction. I'm actually going to max that out there. So we have that set to strong. Now you might be able to see up in the top right-hand corner, this Tinnitus Manager button. If I tap on that, it's not going to do anything because this program has not been initially set up with a tinnitus masker. And I'll show you how to do that because I do have a custom program in here, or rather, I do have a professional program inside of here that has the tinnitus masker on, and I'll show you what that is here in a little bit. But for this purpose, I'm going to go back to Sound Enhancer, and you know what? I actually like this program a lot, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to add it as a favorite. I can name it whatever I want to, but I'm just going to leave it as favorite 1 for this review. And what I can do now is I can go down to the location option, and if I want this program to activate automatically for me when I get into a certain location, you can use this kind of like this geo marker or geo tracking of the hearing aids. You can essentially do location tracking of the hearing aids. So every single time that I go into this particular area, it will auto activate this favorite program. So I'm going to hit OK here. That's great. So anytime I'm in this area, it's going to go ahead and activate for me, which I think is pretty cool. The other thing you can do here is see the summary of what you've actually done here. So we can see here that from a volume perspective, we're set up at basically the level we started at, and then we have the sound enhancer that has a little bit of an increase of the bass, left the mids alone and decreased the treble. We actually reduced our noise reduction to moderate and took our wind noise reduction and increased it up to strong. And so now that I have this program exactly the way that I want it, I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button in the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to exit out of this. And we can see that along the top bar there now, we have a favorite option of a program. And if I do the drop down here, we can again see that our favorites, we have a custom program in there now. And if I wanted to edit this, I could go into that program. I can make any edits to it that I want in terms of the name or the location capabilities. If I'm wondering what I actually did to that program, if I can't remember, I can go into the summary there at the bottom, and it shows me all of those adjustments that I had made inside of the app to that particular program. So that's a pretty cool feature there. And if I wanted to delete it, I could just go ahead and delete it here at the bottom. Now I'm going to hit cancel to that, and get back out of here. The thing that I want to point out here is this program up at the top, that third program there. You can see that little icon in the top right-hand corner of that program. That lets me know that the tinnitus masker was enabled on this program. So if I were to go into the sound enhancer of this program, you would see that if I switched over to Tinnitus Manager, that it's actually letting me adjust the masker inside of these hearing aids. So I can do different white noise variations or different nature sounds, and I can increase and decrease the volume level of that noise generator. So this is a pretty cool feature if you like to use masking sounds. Remember, masking is not a treatment for tinnitus. You need actual tinnitus treatment from a tinnitus professional. Masking is just putting a band-aid on the problem. If you want to address your tinnitus, go to a tinnitus specialist. If you go to moderntinnitus.co, you can find one of those tinnitus specialists. All right, let's go ahead and go down to the coolest section of this homepage, which is the streaming section. Now, previously on older versions of the app, if you had any accessories paired with your ReSound hearing aids, they would show up as a program option along the top of the app here where you would have to tap into it and select it. Now, you actually see your accessories down here at the bottom. But on top of that, you actually have something called Auracast Assistant when you have a phone that is using LE audio Bluetooth like my Samsung Galaxy S23, and it is enabled for Auracast. Now, I'm going to show you a different section of the phone to make sure that the hearing aids are LE audio enabled, because you actually have to do that in the settings of the actual phone, but I'll do a separate screen capture of that for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. As of right now, I have the multi-mic connected to my ReSound hearing aids, and if I wanted to start streaming audio directly from that multi-mic into my hearing aids, I just have to tap on the play button there, and you can see that it is now streaming audio into the hearing aids. And if I want to stop it, I just tap on it again, and there we go, we have stopped the transmission. Now when it comes to activating the Auracast Assistant, down here, because we have an accessory paired with the hearing aids, we're going to see it say search here. So if I were to click on search, this would actually bring up to where it's searching for an Auracast signal in the environment. Now, if you do not know what Auracast is, basically it's public venue audio broadcasting. So if you're at a church, a museum, a sports bar, or a Broadway show, and they're feeding audio into an Auracast transmitter, you could tap directly into that signal and stream it directly into your hearing aids. This is basically going to replace the need for hearing loops and telecoils inside of your hearing aids. Now, if your Android phone also has Bluetooth LE audio, you'll want to go back into the Bluetooth settings of the phone and activate LE audio. So I'm just going to go to settings here. I'm going to go to connections. I'm going to go to Bluetooth devices, and we can see that we have Clifford's hearing aids connected here, but there's the gear wheel off to the side, and you can see that we have the option of turning LE audio on, and we are absolutely going to do that with these hearing aids. That will allow us to tap into an Auracast broadcast signal through the Auracast Assistant inside of the app. All right, so that's pretty much everything that you can do on the home page of this app. Let me go ahead and go over to the status tab. And in the status tab, it shows you a couple of things, very basic though. It shows you the battery life of your ReSound hearing aids, and it shows you if that ReSound hearing aid is actually connected to your phone. And if you had an Apple Watch, if you used an iPhone, you'd be able to see the Apple Watch on there as well. But as you can see, we are fully connected with my hearing aids as we're making adjustments to them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the My ReSound tab at the bottom, and a couple of different hearing aid features here. We have the Find My Hearing Aid feature, and this will actually tell you the last known location of your hearing aids. Of course, both of the hearing aids are together here, and it has a warm, cold signal strength based on Bluetooth signal strength with the hearing devices themselves, so you can use that to try to locate where you lost your hearing aids. You can switch that over, of course, to a satellite view as well, or back to the map view. Now, the other thing that you can adjust here is the tap control, because a lot of these ReSound hearing aids will have motion sensors inside of them. You can double tap your ear to answer phone calls, and you can have it active for one ear and not the other. You can turn it off completely. But for this particular case, we're going to go ahead and leave that feature on, and we're going to go back to the My ReSound screen. We also have a learning section here, so you can learn more about the app. You can set up your guiding tips for different areas within the app. You can do the Check My Fit feature as well, which is when you're working with a hearing care professional and you want to make sure that you're able to insert your hearing aids to the proper depth and get them positioned properly. You can do this with your hearing care professional where they can confirm that you're putting the hearing aids in properly, and then you can go back and reference it later. I'll go ahead and do a separate screen capture of that for you right here. So when I do that, the whole purpose of this is to identify if your hearing aids are properly placed inside of your ears so you can show that to your hearing care professional. Ideally, they'll do this with you at your hearing aid fitting so you know what it looks like to have your hearing aids inside of your ear canals properly. And then if you want to redo it to show them how good you're doing, you can do that as well. So I'm going to hit continue here. And I'm going to put the hearing aids inside of my ears. And then you're going to go ahead and use the app. You're going to hit the start button here. You're going to face the app, and it's going to have me turn my head to the side, and I can hear that it took a photo. We're going to go back center again, and we're going to turn my head to the left, and it took a photo. And now it's going to actually show me on the screen there what it looks like to have my hearing aids properly inserted into my ear canal. And so we're going to use that as a reference and click on done. So now if we ever want to go back to check the fit, we're going to click on check fit options. We're going to review photos, and we can actually see what it looks like when you have the hearing aids properly inserted into your ear canals. Last but not least, let's get over to the more tab here along the bottom. And so there's a couple different things that you can do in here. So we have this setup, which is the pair new hearing aids. If you have a new set of hearing aids and you're inside the app and you're just playing with it in demo mode, but you need to pair a new set of devices to get it out of demo mode, you can do that here. You can also pair a new wireless accessory to your hearing aids through this section as well. And then you can activate whether or not you want these guiding tips on there, and you can activate whether or not you actually want Auracast Assistant on there as well. And then of course down here towards the bottom, you can look up more information about your devices or about the app, things of that nature. So that's for the Android version of this app. Now there are a couple of other features in the iPhone that I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to do it in demo mode because I cannot do a direct screen capture when I'm actually connected up to the hearing aids. All right, so here we go. We are connected to the iPhone with the app, and you may notice that I'm in demo mode because again, I cannot screen capture on the iPhone without putting the hearing aids into streaming mode, which totally changes the screen here. So in this demo mode, there's a couple other things I'm actually going to point out to you here. So down here at the bottom where it says streaming, see all devices, I'm going to tap on that, and it's going to bring up the ability to actually enable the streaming device that you want to utilize. Now, there's a way that you can actually auto-activate these streaming devices once they are physically turned on, but I'll show you that here in a second. So if I want to, let's say, tap into the bedroom TV streamer, I tap on it and we start streaming from the TV streamer. If I want to switch on to something else, I go over to the partner mic. There we go. We've switched over to the partner mic and I'm streaming from that now. And then, of course, when you're streaming from a device, it also gives you the option to control how much of the streaming volume you're getting here on the top versus the amount of hearing aid microphone pickup that you're getting. Think of it like this. If you're traveling in an airplane and you want to make sure that you get rid of all of the noise that your hearing aids might pick up, but you want to have your significant other wearing the multi-mic to stream their voice basically to your hearing aids, you can increase the streaming volume and even mute the hearing aid microphones if you want to. And then of course, if someone comes up and starts talking to you, you're going to want to unmute the microphones of the hearing aids, and you may want to mute the streamer device that you're using on your spouse. But you can actually blend that however you want to. You can separate out left versus right where you're getting streaming sound coming into your right ear, but you're using the microphones on your left ear. So it's really kind of a cool feature on that. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of restore this back to where we had it. And I'm actually going to turn off the streaming there, so the streaming is now not active at all. Again, a lot of this stuff is the same on an iPhone as it is an Android phone, but again, let me go into the My ReSound tab here at the bottom, and you'll notice a couple of extra things here. So we still have the Find My Hearing Aid, we still have the tap control. Now we have these accessory options in here that I'm going to show you. And again, this would be available inside an Android device as well, but if I tap on Bedroom TV, it's going to connect to that Bedroom TV, and you can see we have an auto streaming feature up here at the top. If I were to toggle that on, basically every single time we turn on the TV, it's automatically going to start streaming the audio into your ReSound hearing aids. If you do not like that, then you, of course, turn that back off. Then if you're wearing two hearing aids, you want to make sure you're getting stereo sound, but if you're only a single hearing aid user, you'll typically want to turn that off so you're getting only mono audio. If you do use stereo, you're going to be missing some of the sounds if you only wear one hearing aid, so you want to make sure all of that sound is going into that one hearing aid. But in this particular case, Because we're working with two hearing aids, I'm going to turn stereo back on. Now here's another cool feature inside of the app as well, and that is the sound delay. So you may have noticed that sometimes if you're streaming audio directly from a device into your hearing aids, that the audio and the visual that you have of like someone talking on the TV may not line up perfectly. And if that's the case, you can adjust the sound delay of that stream, which is a really, really cool feature if you ask me. That way you can line up the audio exactly with the visual of what you're saying. And then up here in the top right-hand corner, you have an edit button where you can actually rename this accessory, or you can remove the accessory altogether. All right, so let's get back out of this and continue on here. Again, learning section is the same, but here I'm also gonna show you on the iPhone is the ReSound Assist feature. Now, ReSound Assist has to be activated by your hearing care professional, where they're actually going in and making programming changes for you and either sending them to you, or they're connecting with you in real time to make adjustments on your hearing aids. In this particular case, we're gonna say that, okay, we sent you a change of programs, and then you can go in and rate how you like them. So you can click on the Rate My Sound and say that, you know what, those adjustments were great, I am satisfied now. Click on that Satisfied button, it sends the feedback back to your hearing care professional. You also have the option of actually requesting assistance here, where you can explain what the problem is, send it to your hearing care professional, they create different program settings for you, and then send them back to you for you to install or upload rather into the hearing aids, and then you can test them out. If we go back to the My ReSound screen, you can see what those requests were. So all those requests pop up here. You can look at your closed requests, basically ones that you had tried and you got rid of, and then the ones that are still active, ones that you've actually received changes for, and then you can actually install those into the hearing aids or revert them if you didn't like the changes that were sent off to you. So pretty cool feature. It can be asynchronous. You do not have to be live in real time with your hearing care professional for that. And then here at the very bottom, you have hearing aid software updates. This is a nice feature as well, because a lot of hearing aid manufacturers make you go in to see your hearing care professional to do a firmware update on your hearing aids. But in the case of ReSound, they're letting you do these firmware updates directly through your smartphone. So again, nice added feature there. Otherwise, everything else is virtually the same, except for, as a reminder here, iPhones do not yet have access to Bluetooth LE audio, which means that you do not have Auracast available, and there's no Auracast assistant inside of an iPhone. What I'm hoping is that as the next year or two goes by, that Apple finally gets on the bandwagon of switching over to Bluetooth LE audio, because if I'm being honest, my Samsung Galaxy S23 has had it for like 2 years. All right, guys, hopefully this video tutorial has helped you understand the features and capabilities of the ReSound Smart 3D app. Make sure that you check out all of my other detailed review videos and tutorials on my YouTube channel, and as always, I'll see you next time.